Hi, guys. It's Natalie here. Hope you're all doing well, staying home, staying healthy, staying safe. I am going to help with the explanation of how we're going to use this communication document for all of our students and families in the coming weeks. First of all, just the why. Remember, we really want to help support students with clear communication. We know there's a lot of different emails coming out from the district, from schools, depending on who has kids at which school. And it's getting overwhelming, understandably. Everyone has great intentions, but moving forward, we want to do our best to streamline communication so that parents aren't having to remember, like, oh, I have an email I need to tell my kid about, or my kid needs to check their email here, but Google Classroom here. We're really going to try to streamline that for everyone.
So to start with, this is a template of what the weekly class communication document will look like. There's a few directions on here for teachers. These will not be part of what you give to kids, but let's just review that. So one thing to notice, it says in order to help kids and families, let's fill this out and post each week by Monday at 4 p.m. The part I currently have highlighted. We are going to ask everyone to post by Monday at 4, and we're going to transition to a Tuesday to Tuesday kind of schoolwork week. This buys us a little extra time on Mondays to get things together and to post. And if you are ready to post your document before that, if you want to do it on the weekend, that's great. But we are asking everyone to have it posted by 4 p.m. on Mondays. The next bullet is, notice this is not a place to write paragraphs, but instead we're looking for a quick snapshot of what is to come for the week and just a reminder for kids about where they'll find information from teachers. So again, we're not asking you to post lesson plans here. This is simply a one-stop shop in a platform kids are used to for where they can find information from their teachers. If you need to add rows to this because there's more teachers, feel free to do that. So it looks like this. You will include your class name, and grade level. So for me right now, that would be 6th grade science. Teacher name. So I would write Mrs. Dudley. Assignment for the week. Next week, we're going to be working on non-renewable and renewable energy sources. I'd write that in there. Where to find it. Science 6 Google Classroom. Office hours and how to contact. For me, I'm just going to put my email address and ask kids to reach out as needed. I know some of you do want to offer live office hours. Here's an example for English 8. Oh, this is good too, because we are going to ask you guys to include the date beneath that. Instead of just writing like week 1, week 2, please do include the date. So 3/31 is Tuesday through April 6th. So again, a Tuesday to Tuesday. Really, if you notice this, it's pretty general. So again, this is an example. Terhagen, theme essay night in Google Classroom. Here's his contact info. One thing that's interesting, or something hopefully that makes you feel better, is really this should not be much work to change. This might be the only thing that you change every week. I know for me, I'm probably just going to write Google Classroom. The only thing I'll have to change each week is kind of the focus for the week. What's the topic that we're going to be working on? One other thing to remind you about this, the where to find it section, again, whatever you are currently using is fine. This might say Blackboard for you, or maybe it says Edmodo, or maybe it says go to Google Classroom and find the link to the blend space. Whatever your kids are used to using, we are not saying this has to be the same. The examples just all happen to be Google Classroom. You'll remember that in the Preston Google Classroom that we had for this week of practice, we are only allowed to have up to 20 editors per Google Classroom. So the reason I'm showing you this now and reminding you is because we really do want you to work with your Common Course teams if possible. So one of the people on this list will be in charge of uploading this document, and I'll show you where in a minute, each Monday by 4 p.m. So for example, if I'm looking at the 6th grade list, for music, Miss Rangel is in charge of updating it right now. For Math 8, Hawthorne's in charge of updating it right now. Well, I guess Hawthorne and Sampson. And if there's any reason, like maybe Decker doesn't want to be the one for English and she's already talked to Dante Yakabuchi, just email Lindsay Matkin and she can change that. And then here is the list for the 7th and 8th grade Google Classroom. We are not saying you have to be doing the exact same thing as your Common Course team, but we are going to ask you to work together within your Common Courses to get that document filled out each week. Thing to notice is there are teachers who are part of many Common Course teams, right? Or singletons. But for example, in English 8, Chris Terhagen is here because he's an 8th grade English teacher, but he would also be in another, he'll also have to have another one of these for yearbook that will be posted under an elective section, which would be called yearbook. So we know that for some of you, it's a little bit more to navigate, but you can also see the benefit of working with your Common Course team because all of you will be on one document. The so what. So I'm talking about this document that we have to have updated every week. The reason we're doing this is because we want to kind of capitalize on what kids are already used to. So I'm going to model this for you. Right now on my screen, you see the Preston Middle School Practice and Enrichment Classroom for 6th grade that has 333 students. I'm going to model on the version 3 that has 0 students. So what we're thinking is kids will continue to visit these Google Classrooms because that's what they're used to. When they come into the Google Classroom, they will click on classwork and they'll continue to see the exact same topics here that we have already created that have all of the extension activities. So take a look, English Language Arts, 6th grade. Here were all of the things that were provided for kids during this kind of extended spring break / enrichment week. What will be done for you this weekend, so you do not have to do this? Kyle Healy, Lindsay Matkin, and Ann Tarkinson are going to clean up the classroom. We've already done it for this art example to show you. What we're going to do is put all of the practice and enrichment activities into one new folder here, kind of one new group. So those will not go away. Kids can still have access to those. And it's clearly going to be dated that it was practice and enrichment from 3/23 to 3/27. Then what we're going to do is add this new tab, Weekly Class Communication, 3/31 to 4/6. This tab will stay there, and then you can see every week we'll add a new tab with the new date. So they'll click into the Weekly Class Communication tab, and there'll just be one document posted, and it will be this template. So here is our example. This is art. You can see art 6, and it says 3/31 to 4/6. Miss Cobb's name is there, the general assignment for the week, where kids can find information, and then how to contact her. You will notice that we uploaded that one as a PDF. You can upload it as a PDF, or you could upload it just as the document, but make sure you do view only. So a couple pros and cons. If you use the PDF, like we did in the example, then you're not going to get a ton of emails requesting edit access. I think people do that accidentally sometimes, or kids at least are accidentally clicking, like thinking they need to access it and they don't. So if you don't mind deleting those emails, you could just use a view only document. But if you don't want to deal with that, you could use a PDF. A PDF takes a few extra steps to download and convert to PDF, but you can decide with your team what you want to do. Another thing to remember is if you are uploading the Google Doc, make sure you change it to view only. Kind of what to expect. You all have a link to this document in this email. So if this was me, I'd get the document, I'd open it up, and it's going to be view only. You're going to be forced to make a copy. So I'd go to File, Make a Copy. All right, so I have made a copy of the Weekly Class Communication document. Notice that I just named it up here with the date, so 3/31 to 4/6. The first part at the top are just notes for you as the teacher. So when you're done with this, you can just delete those before you post it. Whoever is going to be posting to the Google Classroom, if you can figure out, if you know how and understand how within your content area section to add a new file, it would be super helpful if you could do that, and you would just name it Weekly Class Communication 3/1 to 4/6. But when you post it, you don't want to have any of this information on it. Kids don't need to know it's a template. Literally, you're just going to edit this for your class. So for me, I would call this 6th grade science, teacher name. I'm going to put my name in here. Assignment for the week is renewable versus non-renewable energy. It's Google Classroom, and I'm going to just make a note it's my original science classroom that we've already been using. And then I'm not doing office hours. I'm just going to say email if you want to talk. Now remember, you have to share this with your Common Course team, so I can just click into this and click insert row below, and there I can add Jennifer Breyer and fill that out for her. Also, before you upload this, don't forget to delete all of the other examples. Kids don't need to see that. So when you're done, it looks just like this, and then whoever is uploading that, oops, look, I forgot to put the date. 3/31 to 4/6. Whoever is uploading that, if you're able to, make that folder that says 3/31 to 4/6 weekly class communication and post this for students to see.
All right, so a couple key things to remember. You are not required to post extensive lesson plans. You're just updating weekly, like here's where you go to find out what to give for each class. Ah, touched my face. Also, even though this has to be updated by 4 p.m. every Monday, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have your entire Google Classroom updated for the week. This allows a lot of flexibility. So maybe you are just going to post once a week something on Google Classroom, or maybe you are posting every day. Whatever works for you, it doesn't matter. We're not communicating that to kids on this weekly document. It's just, where do I go for this teacher? One more thing to point out is that with communications, if you are having to send an email, we are going to ask that we are very succinct. So not writing paragraphs, maybe using bullet points, and really thinking about, is this necessary information to communicate? In the subject line, we have had requests to please make sure that we are indicating who it's from and at which school. So if I'm sending an email home to my science families, I would need to say, Preston Middle School 6th grade science from Mrs. Dudley. Because again, there are parents getting tons of emails. Hopefully with this new communication method, you can just bypass the emails and post pertinent information in Google Classroom or Blackboard or whatever platform you're using with your students. If you have any other questions, I'm happy to support in any way I can. I am teaching 6th grade science right now, but I would love to collaborate still with any of you if you need it. And I miss seeing all your faces. Hope you guys are all well.